This one is a blank, and then there is a record 4003 American Express, and then the rest of the details. Similarly, the auto and everything. So this is the file that we have for the um, customer LA regional food bank. And so how we have proceeded on this one is in this manner. LA regional food bank. So if you see this, we had the first line that we have. So we are taking the whole thing as a literal. So if you see here, this auto hide formula equal to sheet 3, sheet 1, sheet 2 is this the same as we have in this CSV file. Auto hide formula C equal to 3, 1, 2, then the rest of the things. And we don't need to read the rest of the things if we are not interested. So what we can do is we can just define the maximum number of columns that are there in the line tag and the literal that we want to capture. So just want the when we are trying to interpret the file, so in that manner. Then the next line that we have, so if you see in the next line there are like again we have defined columns equal to 12 because there is the fixed size that we want. So in that manner, what we are doing is, if you see here, the first one that is there, this is the second line, and in the first column, we don't have any data. Like there is no literal nothing. So am I guy audible or like
Yeah, yeah, you're audible.
okay, okay. So as we don't have any literal, this is a blank, and there is no other information. So what we are doing is we are just like have taken a blank empty column tag, and this one is just saying that we are not reading this particular thing. So this will be counting as column first in the list of in the count of total column 12. Then there is like the column which is the vendor number. So we have to be very careful in terms of the name that we copy. So there can be extra space. So let's say this vendor number dot is having one extra space. So we have to copy the whole thing in a control A manner, control all, so that we can get the everything, the spaces that are there. So that will be captured and will be written in will be interpret as vendor number, then the name. And if we want, we can give all the literals that we want. But if we are not reading them, we are not storing them, or there is no other use, then like we can skip. We can if you want, we can have till like other things also, and that will make no difference. So this is just to read the starting text that we have, and if there is information that we want to read in the next also, we can take that. So this is if you want, we can like incorporate these things. Then the whole data thing starts from the line third, and this tag that we have repeats is just saying that this particular set of record, which is line number 30 till 63, this can be repeated single time, multiple times. Like it can be just one time, it can be zero, it can be multiple times. So there can be the like these three scenarios can occur, and these are the details that then we are capturing. So this is the blank details, so we don't want to capture this. From here we are capturing like vendor number, name, address to city, state, zip code, contact number, phone number, extension, email. So these are the informations that we are capturing, and then we are just storing in the way that we have defined the keys. So the supplier ID is the supplier ID, then supplier name, address one, address two, city, state, province, postal code. And if you see here, postal code, after the postal code, there is a blank empty tag of the fields. So after the zip code, this particular contact. So this is the information that we don't want, this contact. This is a in-person contact that they have provided. It can be there, it cannot be there, and this is not something that 1AP has marked as required. So, and they have not given this in the mapping file also. So this information we are not capturing. For not capturing the information, we are just using an empty tag, and that will do. Then the phone number extension, and email. Why we are capturing all these details in here is of this phone number extension number, j plus k equal to phone number. So in this manner, we are treating this file as the Bible to do all sort of mapping in the XML file, creating the DSL file. And this is the way we are capturing the input. We are saying that, yeah, please store all the informations you include as corresponding to these keys. So any questions till now on how why we have used empty tags? So if you see here, the first tag also is empty, that is the field tag, because we didn't wanted to capture this particular detail, that is the by default text of auto, or either a blank. And that is why we have not captured this one. We have just used the empty tag, because we will be the libraries that we have used, they will check like whether the column counts are 12 or not. So we need to have those things. So any questions till now, or am I going too fast?
Mm, about phone number and phone number extension, um, at, at the spec, the customer want to contact this field. So in this map, we just create two field, one with phone number and one with phone number extension, and in code we will concatenate it, right?
Okay, so that part, in this manner you are saying that the phone number
Yeah.
extension j plus k, this
Yeah.
they have given as phone number. So that part will be done in a way that uh, the formattings of the phone number that will be done. So that will be taken care of. So if they want that just the phone number, then they can for this particular customer, we can directly because we need to capture the information in a way, we have defined the keys. So we need to capture the keys, and then later in the later part, if they want that no, we want everything in a concatenated manner, then we can give that in the phone number extension in the formats, the default formatters that we have provided. So that will be the part where the default formattings will be done. And one more thing is that if you see the 1AP format that we have, so the format of the 1AP, just a second, documents, 1AP. This is there, supplier file, this, yeah. So if you see here in the supplier file 1AP format, I guess you might have these documents.
Yeah, better send it across after the call.
Sure, sure. So if you see here, these, there is a marking that required, or the optional sort of the things, required optionals, and there is one hint here that is provided is contact phone number extension, and this is maximum that can go till 10, and this is like an optional thing. Similarly with the phone number, and that is also 10. If we are concatenating the information that is there, uh, that will make this number more than 10 digits. And the formattings that we have done, so that will take out the initials number that will be there. So let's say there is a the extension like 300 or 412, in similar manner, the initials will be taken out, and it will be like a substring will be done. So that part is like the team which did the initial things. They had this thing in the mind with the default format of the 1AP, where we have given a standalone field, contact phone number extension, and where we are giving the information. So all the phone number extension informations will be provided in this. If the user has given in the mapping file that they are providing the phone number extension, if they are not providing, then we will not be, we will just be showing it with a blank. There will be a empty data with the CSV delimiter at the next. Does that answer? Because of this limit, that's the whole scenario with the way we are formatting the number. So
We used to have the customer, they want to connect post to code 5 digits and post to code 4 digits in 2 columns. So I just want to confirm about if
okay,
how can we do that on XML schema.
okay. So if I'm getting your question correct, so you are saying that, just a second, let me explain you. So you are saying that we want to concat this phone number extension and this phone number in the XML itself, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So for that, uh, like as per the platform that they have set, the EA team and everything, they have till now used a phone number extension as an individual field in wherever the data that has been provided, and that they have defined. So if a way that in future some customer wants that, no, I want more than 10 digits, and 1AP tells that, yeah, we are like increasing the limit of the phone number fields to 20, then we can do the customizations here itself while doing some concat operations and then defining a tag. But as of now, they have not decided that, so we have left in the manner that it was developed, and then we are continuing on the development. If there is a need, and then the customer says that, no, we need everything in uh, the way that implicitly that we have defined, then then we need to change and do a development. It will be a minor development, and that will be okay for that. But as of now, the phone number extension has been taken as an individual field that is there.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So and we can just for the information, we can just show you the 1AP file for this particular customer. So that will be also easy while correlating this. Just a second. Public files. Exec file. Just a second. I'm opening the file. File. So this is the output that we have. So this is the output file for the LA regional with a minimum set of customers that we have. And if you see here, this is the phone number extension, the contact phone number, state, province, supplier name, supplier ID, that is there. And this we have matched with the existing, the old output that we have. That is the document service that we have. And .NET Service also, why the changes were done in the Java in that manner, because the .NET Service also had the same thing that, in terms of implementation. So contact phone number extension, if there is if there is a data, then please input the data. We will be just printing that. If not, there will be, this will be an empty. Similarly, with the contact email, is default payment address in this manner. So this is the output file that we have for the regional food bank. And in the similar manner, we have also defined the header record and the address records. So I will just collapse the input side, and then we can move on the output side. So this is the output that we have defined here in the similar manner that we just copy pasted everything in terms of output. So it can be a copy paste. There can be a difference, but the differences will be only sometimes. Mostly times it will be just a copy paste in terms of the output. So supplier name, this will be the similar, the same key that we have taken here, supplier name. Then supplier ID, this is also the same key that we are using here. After that, address name. This is something we have not given a key in this file. So this is something that we are referring as a main address or a secondary address or a work address, and that we are taking care in the code base itself. Then there is a supplier ID, address 1, address 2. There will be some customers for which you will be saying there will be a address 3 also, but this will be only for those customers who have provided the mapping for address 3. And in this manner only I am saying that the output schema of the XML might change, but the minimum set of elements will always be there. There might be addition or deletion of few fields that will be there. So that part. Then we have taken care of the state, province, postal code, country, phone number extension, email, and is the default payment address. So this is the header that we are writing. So in terms of headers, we are defining both the things like supplier, supplier name, supplier ID. And if you see here, this is the headers that we have defined. This is the header, serial number, sorry, a supplier record, name, supplier ID, then the address record, address name. So this is the first two lines that will be there in every file. That's the standard of the 1AP. So we have taken as a header, and then we have implemented that in the similar manner that was there on the .NET side. Then if we just do a collapse in these two headers, then we start with the address record. And here the address record, we are just like using the same keys, because these will be the keys based on which the library, the libraries that we have used to read the file, read the records from the CSV file or Excel file or a text file or a flattened file. Based on the keys that we have defined, it will extract the records, and then it will enter in the readers that we have used. Then address 1, address 2, if there was an address 3, it would have just added that city, state, province, postal code, phone number, country. Again, if some customers have defined a country, if not, then by default we are providing as US. Phone number extension, email, and is the default payment address. This will be a Boolean thing, so that we have that's why we have used this is default payment address. Similarly, with the supplier records, we have encountered where the supplier ID was the only thing that was required in supplier name also, in this place also. So for that, we just replaced the supplier name with the supplier ID key. That was the requirement in the mapping file, so we did that. So that is somehow the mapping sometimes change. The output tag might also change sometimes, but that like it will only be for some customers, I guess. It will not be as far we have encountered. So this is the way that we have defined the output, and that was the initial that we defined the input. So, and this was because it was a single line record. It was every line was containing a individual record. So that's why taking these tags and then just using this repeat tag and then getting the informations. So any questions, like I will be happy to answer any questions.
No.
Yeah, please go
Yeah,
on.
yeah, I have question. You can keep going.
Should I move the cursor up? Yeah, please go on with your question. Hello.
No, I have no question.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
no question. Okay. So, if no questions, then we can show you the outputs that we have, and then this way we can be on the same page. So this is for the customer that we have. This is the file that we have, the CSV file, and this is for as a regional food bank. In the similar manner, you can see this auto hide formula sheet. I can just enlarge that if you want. I can enlarge this. So just a second. My bad, I guess. So are you able to see this IntelliJ ID? Hello.
Hmm?
Yeah, Viram, we're able to see.
Okay. Okay. So this is like something that we have created to test all the details that we have, the component test we are saying, we are referring, and whenever we are providing this input, what's the output that we will be getting. So this is the output that we have used, and if you see serial number, sorry, supplier record name, supplier ID, and then the address record name, address 1, address 2, city, state, province, postal code, and the list goes on. Then we are starting with the records. See, the supplier record on Icon Express, the ID is 4003, and then with the records. In the similar manner, then we have defined what this will also take care is, let's say there is a input line which is not having any record but just empty data, empty line in terms of the CSV records that should be there as per the definition. So they have not defined anything, they have just used the same number of comma, the comma separated in that single line. So those things will also be taken care of. Then there is an empty line at line number 11. So this will also be taken care of. There are empty lines at the end of the file. These things will be taken care of. And this we have tested using the old .NET service also, and the new service. So they both are in resemblance with the inputs that we have provided against both. So this is the way that we are testing the output one AP file that should be there after we are writing the XML. So, and if you want, I can show you one more where we have like some things like with the extra details also. So after that we can move to the details. So as I was saying that there can be some customers for which you will be changing the output file also, output tag. And if you see here, this address name, supplier ID, and here we have just address one. We don't have address two or address three. So in this manner, I was saying that the output tag will change sometimes. Sometimes they will change because there are like some informations which they are not using phone number also here, or a phone number extension. So those informations we don't want, so we are not adding in these things. So Yeah, that's sometimes this will change sometimes. So because those were the optional records, so sometimes they will be odd to change. So yeah. uh, uh, any questions till now on the CSV file that we have encountered, the two CSV files that like we explained? Please, because if the CSV part is clear, then the Excel part will be a much easier part. So if any doubts, please go on.
I have no question.
Okay, so we'll move to the Excel part.
Yeah.
So for Excel, we have a customer Acento. So this is the customer and the data that we have for him. This is the file for Acento, and if you see, we have the first line that we have given as Acento active vendors as of, this is some text that they have defined, and then the rest are empty. So the rest of the tags are empty, that we are not, we don't want any other informations to be done, or we don't want to read that. Then the next line in the similar manner is ID, name, phone number, mailing address 2, 3, mailing city, state, mailing postal code. So apart from that, they don't have any other informations that they have shared. So now this ID in the mapping file they have given, like this ID will be supplier ID, and the name and the phone number, all the details. So how we have written the the XML file for them, for Ascento customer, is like in the similar manner that we defined the CSV, like maximum columns that we are reading is like 10, and then we are giving that Ascento active vendors as of the text that we have, and there is a, if you see, there is an empty empty space that is there. So the extra space that also was there, so we have copied that. Then because we don't know what sort of files we will be getting from the ERP systems or the various customers, so that's why we have to take care of these things. Then we are taking care of the columns, the next line that is there. So the line tag is something that we need to take care, we need to read line by line, and this is like line first, line second, line third. So now after this, we were saying this ID and the name, because we don't want to read the all the files. We know that we have the data. We just like we are defining that the columns are 10. If we want, we can even remove this, or remove the, we can just provide an empty tag, and then the compiler will take care of the rest. We just want to give a single tag if there are some data. Otherwise the compiler will say that, yeah, we have some data but you are not trying to read. So at least we are trying to read a single information, and then we are just we don't want to read the other parts, so we are just moving that, or we can remove the single this one, and then also it will work. So then we are saying that the lines will record, the lines with the detailed record will start. So the line first, line second has ended. Now the line third will start, and it will read the records. So there you can expect a zero record, or a single, or a one record only, or a multiple records. And how you can expect is the way where the first column will be the supplier ID, then the next will be supplier name, phone number, then there will be a empty tag that we have used. And why we have used this? Because this is a type, and we don't want to read this particular information. So that's why we have just used an empty field tag. Then we are using address 1, address 2. Then again we have used an empty tag. And if you see, after address 2, there is a mailing address C which is always blank, so the mapping was not provided for that, and that's why we have left them. Then there is a city, state, province, and the postal code. So there were no other information provided. The all the things that were there were either optionals or they were not mandatory. So that's why the informations were in given, and that was the pretty much the information that we had from the Excel file, and then we captured that. Now, how we are outputting to the 1AP format is the same thing. So the header will be same, the next header, that is with the address record, will also be same. So this is something that will only change if there are like address 3, address 1, address 2. So if those are the things that we want, then we need to change the headers. So I will just collapse this. Then address record started, and we are trying to full um, give the data to them. So just a second, I'm getting a call. Apologies, guys. So yeah, so we are having this address name that will be taken care of when we are reading the when we are trying to create the 1AP format file. Then the supplier ID, and supplier ID is the same that we have used here. In the similar manner, address 1, address 2, address 3. Now, why we have given address 3 here? Because the mapping file wanted us to give the address 3, and it has provided some of the data in the address 3, but it can be empty, it can be a blank one. So but they wanted this thing, so we have provided that. Then there is a city, there is a state, province, then postal, then country. So country was also not provided to us in this. If you see, there was no country thing that was provided, but it is a mandatory thing in the output format, in the 1AP format that we have. So that's why we are using a literal, that's a US. If some customer wants to have USA or United States, they can write anything they want in here. Then the phone number, and then the is default payment address, and then the supplier name and the supplier ID that is there. And this will be the informations that we are capturing, and how we are giving how we are telling the code base to write the 1AP format file using these values that we have provided as keys, and the values that will be given against them. So this is a file which is also a single line, but in this case it's a XLS file, Excel file. So any questions on this particular part?
Notion. It looks like same at mapping of CSV. Same the way.
For this particular, you want to see the mapping file. Is that correct? Did that was the question, or did I get it wrong?
Notion.
Okay. So yep, this is the single lines that we have on the Excel files that we have, and that the earlier one that we showed was the of the CSV file. So these are the most like two files that we have encountered mostly for the supplier files. So the supplier files are either the CSV or the Excel file, and in this manner we are able to read the records and write that in the 1AP format that we have. And if you want to see the outputs for the center, I can show that. And this is the output that we have. So address name, supplier ID, address 1, address 2, address 3, city, state, province, postal code, country, contact phone number, and is default payment address. And then the information that we are writing. So this sometimes it can change, sometimes it will not change the output. but the first one will always remain the same. It can also change. There are certain things like tax number or a buyer account number, as in the old service, the .NET service. So it can change. So there is no such like uh, there is no such thing that the output tags cannot change. So when we are trying to copy the output tags, we have to be a bit careful that whether they want some extra information. If they want, we need to add or we need to remove from the existing from the file that we copied. So this is on the supplier files. I guess these are the two files that we have encountered as of now on the supplier side, and mostly all the supplier files are single records, single line records. So any issues we can tackle. Some of the issues that we have tackled as of now. If some things comes up in the near future, we can also tackle that. On the payment sides, Abhay, can you take on the payment side,
Yeah, Abhiram.
or
So,
do you?
I mean, I'll explain one of the, client.
Sure, sure.
Yeah. So, Kim, the logic is similar, suppliers. The only thing, if you are correctly map the input attribute with the DSL, you are done. So, I'll just give you one example of the LR Dynamics. It's having the CSV format. Let me go through. So this is one of the customer, LR Dynamics. So here, see, it's nothing different from the supplier. The Our main logic is to how to map the input attribute into the DSL, and through the DSL, once we are done with the reading, we are setting those data to our whatever the attribute defined in payment service, and then everything goes to, payment services that will take care of all the parsing. So let's say here, the only some of the cases, the very first session that Abhiram took, they don't have the headers. But today's session, you have seen there is a headers also defined. But in this case, let's say with the headers, we have payment name, payment date, payment amount, supplier ID, supplier name, and invoice related details. So the first objective is to map this attribute into DSL. So how we can do it? Let's see here, Taylor Dynamics. So it's as discussed earlier. So the things are the file format, CSV, Platen, and the type. Earlier you have seen it's a supplier. In case of payment, you have to change this, the payment. Now you have to map the attributes. So let's see the input file. See here, my first attribute is payment num, then payment date, and followed by payment amount. So how we have done? Just the similar way, we have taken that whatever name defined in input file. So make sure here you are not putting any extra spaces, or let's say it's any what the way it's written to input file, we have to as it copy it. It's not like you are putting in lowercase. It's not like that. So as it is, you have to copy it. So I have, let's say, 12 column defined over there. So I have taken it. So all together I have taken it. And now we are setting it. So in conversion service, it is defined like payment num is nothing but payment ID, and then payment date is payment date. So that way we are setting the data. And again, we have predefined output sections for that is corresponding to one AP. See here. So here, no need to touch that because it's already defined here. So the first job, As I said, we did it. We have taken all attribute, that is payment date, payment num, amount, supplier ID, supplier name. Let's see here the input once again. Everything we have taken from the input files. So it's already taken care, and then we are mapping with the mapping with the microservice conversion attribute. So here it is payment ID, payment date. So all those 12 column via data will be set here. Once it is set, we are generating the output that is corresponding to non-API format. So the output, the first line will be as it's a header, and followed header will be like payment ID, payment date, and this way it's the predefined, no need to touch. If customer has explicitly asked, then we can, in this field we can make a change. So we are taken everything as a header and followed by the records. So after this, the record will come. So record, again there will be record section, so D data section, and then again we are putting the voucher number, invoice number. This is the predefined. So whatever data set over there, it will just populate it here, and you are done with that. So I'll show you quickly the output. Let's say, so here this is my input section. So it appears like that, and then this is my output section. So as I said, the very first section, it was start with the headers and then with the detail lines. So similar to that, the only thing you have to take care the if you are done with the proper mapping, then you are fine. And let's say this is the
You can show them the
mapping
combined,
file.
records, like the single header and then the detail. Then there can be a single header, then there can be 10
Yeah.
details.
So opening the output. Just one second. So let's say this is the input file. So here, let's say I have a single uh, supplier ID with multiple detail lines. See here. So these data are the same. I mean, invoice data and all, it's the same, but it's with the same payment number. And the same supplier ID, only the invoice things are varied. So see the output here, how it is. See here, this is the 50103 and with these
Yeah.
data.
And
See here.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's what it's flattened. See, the idea is either supplier or payment. So if you are done with the mapping, the rest of the thing done with the payment service. So whatever the parsing and all, it will be taken care inside. So if you are map the attribute properly, so then you are good actually. So if it is properly aligned in DSL, then it is fine. And if you are so make one of the thing, actually either supplier or payment, one of the thing we have to be very I mean alert here. So if you are aligning the attribute while input, so if you are, let's say, 12 attribute and you are not aligning the way it is appearing in input file, and if you are not aligned properly, you may get while reading errors and all. So you should be very cautious here. And also the naming convention, if the headers are present, then you are good actually. So I think if you refer one, I mean, we have the conversion branch, there are multiple files over there, so you can just refer that. It is very helpful. One or two conversion you will be, I mean, very comfortable with doing those conversions. So any question here?
Um. Uh. Can you scroll to the input portion and line with one or more line,
Yeah.
one or more start with one or more. No, 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 no. Scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. define line. Đây đây đây. Line repeats one or more. Let me see. Line repeat. You use
Line
yeah.
number 74. Line number
Necklines.
74.
Necklines. Yeah. Uh, Here you use column and name for payment ID. I want to ask the column here is with field is the same.
Yeah, so this attribute is defined inside conversion attribute. So see here the first input we are saying this is the column of my input file. This is the column name of my, this is directly mapping with the input file. This attribute directly mapping with the input name. And we are just checking this whatever data got read while reading this data. I mean the let's say data is 107 1070. So that will be taken care and this will be set to this. This will be set to here. Or maybe since it is repeats, no? So I given that example, it will many things, then keep on repeating. I mean, for the multiple line. Similar way, payment date, if you see here, payment date will map with the payment date field, and that is the part of my directly correspond to, I mean, input file attribute. So that way we are setting it. The, that way we are setting. So the second is useful for, this is, this attribute is being used inside conversion, I mean conversion service, and we are whatever the kind of I mean kind of
They
parsing
are
or
the
whatever
keys. They
needed,
are
we are
the
doing
keys.
that. Yeah.
They are the keys that we are using, and that will be uniform across all the payments file and the supplier file. So if we
Yeah.
want to have a payment date, then we are using the key as payment date, in the similar manner payment amount. And if there is a format that we want, like if you can see in the date payment date, if you can highlight that YYYMMDD. So that is something that we are expecting, and we are telling the libraries that we have used to read those informations in those details, and whether if the details are provided in a different manner. So there can be a format with MMYYYYDD. So those are the different the tags that we have used, and why we have used those tags, so that we can extract the maximum information from the ERP files that we are getting from various customers. And that is the way that we have defined those custom tags, a repeat, or a format, or a literal, or a identifier. So yeah, it's like
Yeah, so few more things. So this will be always, this is unique. It is throughout the application. So it will never change. But your input header's name, no, keep on changing. So invoice might be in short term you have written description, so full description. The input header keep on changing, but it will be directly mapping with the, I mean, either payment ID or payment date. So you should be, I mean, you uh, keep keep attention here based on your input headers, but these fields, these are about the key defined in microservice conversion, so this will be same as that. So you should be always touching, I mean, based on the headers name, but this will be for all the customer, it will be same.
Okay.
Okay. I think we are actually at the top of the hour. Maybe we can actually, we will have two more formats to cover, right? And so we can actually continue this tomorrow as well. So
yeah. So that can be done. And if you guys have any questions, you can get in touch with me, Madhu, or Abhay, and we will be happy to like clear those doubts.
yeah, and one more thing, Kim and the other team members, since we need local environment setup to test the mapping file you have come up with, so we may have to have install the set up the service locally. So for that, we can actually have a walkthrough. We can have a session in a live session. You can actually set it up. So we will help you that on the bridge itself. So what you can do is get a administrative access on your computers, so that you will be able to install the softwares quickly. I think you have Windows machines. Do you have Windows machines or Apple?
Do you have any list, customer list, or we will find any customer to do exercise?
Sorry.
I mean, we need to do exercise on what you train on CSV and XML5. And I want to ask you, do you have any customer list, or we will do on random customer? We will get random customer to do exercise.
Uh, so Madhu, they are asking about, do we have a set of files with the predefined customers that they will be like taking and then writing the DSL, or they can pick at
We
random.
will. We will provide, and then we are going to list out that. Initially, we will provide and will actually then list out so that you can take it from the list. So we will provide it.
You will provide.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you guys want these files that we have shown you, these are the files that we have like either committed on the repo. So if you guys like are able to access, if not, then we can check whether the access was granted to you or not. So these files might be useful for you to just interpret like why we have used the tags and where the things got changed in different files. So as of now, we have like committed around 9 to 10 files. So and those are all different files. So that will be a good place you can just show like see. If you have doubts, you can come up.
Yeah, yes, we are top of the hour. We can actually continue tomorrow as well. So in the meantime, Kim, I ask your team to get an admin access, raise a request and get an admin access to do the software installation to Windows. You can continue. So we'll have to drop off now. So we'll continue on Tuesday, and probably we may have to do it on Wednesday also to do software installation on your machine. Okay. Yeah. Good. Thanks. Yes, yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhishek.